When you think about rebuilding after marriage and divorce, first of all, where do you start? Starting over is not the end. In fact, turning 40 this year, it let me know that starting over is just the beginning. I was bitter, angry, hurt, betrayed. The list goes on.
It's a heart searching free, rediscovering me. I want you to get through this. Real life conversations, we gotta get straight to this. It's a heart searching free, rediscovering me. I want you to get through this. Real life conversations, we gotta get straight to this.
Welcome to the Heart Surgery Podcast. I'm your host, Shanique Keene, the Soft Girl Specialist. And on this show, we will have real life, heart-to-heart conversations. If you are someone looking to rediscover a new version of you, please stay tuned because I am on a mission to helping women move from victim to victory. So while you're here, be sure to subscribe because we have an amazing word to get out to as many women as possible, just like you and I. So here we are, another episode. Today we are gonna talk about rebuilding after marriage and divorce. Wow. Whew. That's a heavy one for me personally. As you all know, or some of you may not know, I'm recently divorced. It's been about a year, a little over a year. So it's been a challenge. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's been peaches and cream. It has been a challenge. Some good, some not so good. But I am here and I am still standing. And my purpose for being on this camera is to help you do the same. So let's get into this. This is going to be real good. It's going to be a little heavy, but we're going to get through it. So when you think about rebuilding after marriage and divorce, first of all, where do you start? Because when you get married, you think that's going to last forever, right? Like who plans to get a divorce? None of us. So I feel like with me personally, this challenge obstacle has awakening a lot of personal things. I've learned a lot about myself, good, bad, and the ugly. And in this moment, you really have to look yourself in the mirror and really ask, who are you? Who am I? Who is Shanique now that I'm no longer a wife? Because a lot of times we put our entire identity in being a wife. And that's okay. Don't get it twisted. But outside of being a wife, as women, we are individuals. We are human beings. And what I had to learn through this transition is that starting over is not the end. In fact, turning 40 this year, it let me know that starting over is just the beginning. When you think about marriage, you think about all the happy times, the vacations and the dates, and you just think about all the fun things, the laughs. But then when you think about divorce, that kind of hits you like a ton of bricks. I know it did for me. Divorce is probably one of the hardest things you'll experience. For me, it rocked my world. I didn't think that it would, but it did, because you're dealing with different type of emotions. 1 minute you're up, next minute you're down, 1 minute you're laughing, next minute you're crying. And just to be a little transparent, when you're going through a divorce and you get to the ugly phase of that, a part of you, you're thinking like, whatever, I don't need him, right? I can do this by myself. But when it actually hits, it does not feel that way. When you actually put in the effort to file for divorce, right? When you actually put in the effort to separate, when you put in the effort to leave your home, separate your kids, all of the things that you really don't think about in the forefront of divorce, all of that hits you like a ton of bricks. And for me, everyone looks at me like I'm super confident, right? And I am. But even the confident friends, sometimes we don't feel seen. And sometimes we feel alone. So when you're dealing with the emotions of divorce, you're dealing with loss, right? Because you feel like you lost something. Someone and something that was a part of your life for so long, for me, 15 years. You kind of feel like a death. You don't want to call it a death, but it kind of feels like a death, like you're mourning. A part of us feel guilty. You feel guilty because, for me, once again, my home is broken. The kids are now separated. They're not under one roof anymore. They're under two. So that's the guilt that I felt as a mom. But then, you have to switch your mindset and your frame of thought. Because on the other side of that, there's freedom, right? And through a divorce, we don't think about freedom. Because the only thing that we're stuck on is, what will life be without him? What will life be without that? What will life be without help with the bills? What will life be when you have to move across town to a different city? But as you go through the many different emotions, it will take time. It does take time. So don't ever let anyone tell you how and when to get over how you're feeling when you've lost the love of your life, your partner, your spouse, your baby daddy, whatever you want to call it. The space that I'm in now, because I've taken the steps to grow, I made up in my mind that I was not going to be stuck. I made up in my mind that this was not the end of the road for Shanique. I have 2 amazing daughters that I lived this life for amongst myself. So setting an example was very crucial, because as much as I'm preaching and talking, pouring and encouraging other women, it has to start at home. It has to start with me. So in order for me to be on this camera talking to you, I had to do some self-work before I got here. Because a year ago, 6 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I was too broken. But now that I'm on the other side, I'm now able to experience freedom. And I've also realized an identity shift within myself. And what that is you're really just relearning yourself. You're rediscovering who you are. I'm rediscovering who I am at 40. So let me share a couple of things with you that you may not know. At 40, I felt brand new. And I experienced a lot of things before 40. So I made it a point that when I turned 40, my transition of divorce would have been completed. A lot of other things personally that I've gone through would have been completed because I wanted to make sure that when I turned 40, I was turning over a new leaf. That included changing my hairstyle. Believe it or not, that's super powerful for a woman. I didn't know, though, at 40 that I would have to pack up, leave my home that me and my ex-husband shared with our children, and that I would have to move back home at 40. Wow. So here I am, this dope boss chick. Everyone thinks that I have it all figured out. And a couple of months after turning 40, my mother opened her doors to me and my kids. And I'm thinking like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, how am I here at 40? I'm supposed to be moving to newer, higher heights. I'm supposed to have this amount of money in my bank account. I'm supposed to be excelling in my career. It's just supposed to be a different lifestyle, a different outlook. I did not picture being here, y'all, at 40. I promise that was not the plan. But little do we know, God has our plan, right? God knows everything that's going to happen before we can even think about it, before we can even see it, before we are formed in our mother's womb. He knows the plan. So here I am at 40 in a room at my mother's house, literally rebuilding, like rebuilding everything. Rebuilding my life, rebuilding my money, because you know we love our money. Rebuilding my credit. This is where I am. This is where I am. Where I was a year or so ago was a different place. I was bitter, angry, hurt, betrayed. The list goes on. And although I had a choice, and for a while, I sat in that choice. Because who doesn't want to be the victim, right? Who doesn't want the blame to be on somebody else? So yes, I sat in that for a while. I blamed my ex for the things that transpired in our marriage, right? But as you mature and as you grow, we have to realize and we have to take accountability that we are not perfect. No matter what transpired in my marriage at the time, I take ownership to say, that I was not the perfect wife either. And that is the first step to taking accountability. That is the first step to moving forward. Because as long as we stay stuck, we will remain the victim. One of my primary purposes for this podcast is to move women from victim to victory. And so I can't preach that to y'all. I can't say that to y'all if I'm not doing the work over here. So now I consider myself in my victory lap. And it hasn't been easy getting here at all. So yes, anyone that personally knows me knows that I'm not ashamed to share my story. I'm not ashamed of what you know about me. Because I know that God has bigger plans for me. And that's what I want you to take for yourself. We cannot move forward from any challenge in life if we remain stuck. You cannot continue to play the victim if you want to grow. It's not an option. Whatever you are facing today, you're going to have to take the steps. And most of the time, you're going to have to encourage yourself. Because we cannot leave it up to others to do the work for us. No one is coming to save you. So what rebuilding looks like is, number one, changing your mindset, right? If that means surrounding yourself with people that are doing better than you, that have already been through this challenge of divorce, marriage, you think of it as a failure. You failed. I failed. Another relationship that didn't work. Welcome to the club. But all in all, we have to put the steps in place to keep life moving forward. And that is literally taking one step at a time, getting there. This is not a race. We are not in competition with nobody. So we have to make sure that we are rebuilding our lives the best way that works for us, the best way that works for you. So whatever your source is that's going to fuel you, pour into you, help you rebuild, that can be therapy, that can be church. My church home is super important to me, and it has helped a great deal. That can be leaning into other women, because this right here is a safe space. And that's my goal to create for you all, so that you can feel safe sharing your life story. Because telling your story, believe it or not, is going to help another woman. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Guilt, shame, embarrassment, I don't care. I'm here to share my story in hopes that it will help you move forward. So that's what I got for y'all today. But we're gonna have a little fun. So we're going into the second portion of our podcast, and we're gonna do some Q&A. So I have my crew send me some questions. So it's about to get real. Let's get into it. All right. It says, "Hey, Shanique. So I'm currently in repair mode after my divorce. Me too, girl. Some days I feel like I'm swimming. Some days I feel like I'm drowning. Other days, I don't know where I am. That's real talk. I feel like my identity was only through being a wife and a mom. How do I find myself again and do things that fulfill me? So how do I find myself again and do things that fulfill me? That's an amazing, amazing question. Simply because I can relate oh so well. And what I will say is, through my experience, one of the things that helped me maintain who I was, who I am in my marriage was to continue to do the things that I enjoy doing. If you don't know what that is, if you don't have a thing, then it's your job to find something that you enjoy doing. Because it's going to be that very thing that's going to keep you sane. For me, everybody knows what I love to do. No, not talking, traveling. Like, I love to travel. So that is one of the things that kept me going when I felt like I was slipping away as a wife. And then even when parenting was pretty challenging, because we do go through challenges as a parent. Another thing is, honey, solo dates. Don't ever get it twisted. There are times when I had to take a step away. My solo dates means the world to me. I will sit at a bar. I will eat. I will drink my wine. I will people watch. I will talk to other people. That's also another way for you to meet other people. You never know who you're going to run into when you're by yourself. And if you're an introvert, you're going to have to find some way to come out of your shell a little bit. So my encouragement to you is to find something that you like doing. I don't care if it's getting a coloring book and coloring. If it's going for a walk, that is something that I've adopted over the last few years. I love to walk. It's like meditation for me. I love to have my girl time because I think that's very important as well when you're married. There's a fine balance between having your girl time, your friends going out for brunch or something, and being a wife and a mom. You have to learn and know how to balance all of it. So those are my key points that worked for me. There's tons of other ones, but that's what helped me. So stay true to who you are and continue to do the things that you like. That's what's going to help keep you grounded. All right, we got some great ones coming in. Oh my God. All right, give me a second. This is a whole list, so I gotta choose one of them. Okay. Wow. I mean, how can I choose one? You know what? We're gonna go with number one. We're gonna get real. When you were at your lowest point, what was the first honest conversation you had with yourself that began your healing process? Wow. When I was at my lowest point, I really, literally looked in the mirror and asked myself, is this the life that you're going to choose for yourself? And if any of you saw some of my clips that I posted a couple of weeks ago, in one of those clips it stated, I stated it would have been easier. It would have been easier to stay in my marriage. So at my lowest point, I had to make the choice to say, do I want to remain stuck here because I'm not happy? Or do I choose peace and freedom and the chance to move forward? Staying is easier. Moving forward was hard. Moving forward is hard. And so I had to make the decision to make the hard choice. And unfortunately, that's what you're going to have to do. If you want to remain where you are, knowing that you are not happy, you're not happy in your situation, you're not happy within yourself, you're not happy with who you are becoming, then it's time for you to make the tough decision. So what would that tough decision be for you? My tough decision was packing up and moving into my room now at my mother's house, my parents' house. That was a tough decision for me. My tough decision was be broke and rebuild. Watch your credit score decline and rebuild. Walk away from a 6-figure job and rebuild. Take a $40,000 pay cut and rebuild. And smile through it all. So, to answer your question, the first honest conversation I had to have with myself was, stay here or bust a move? What's going to make you happier? Busting a move is what's making me happier right now, because I'm still going through that move. And I'm the happiest I've ever been. So to answer your question, you will need to move. And if you need help doing so, you got the soft girl specialist on your team. Whew. Guys, I mean, some of this stuff I'm just getting out on these episodes. So y'all gonna see some emotion behind this conversation, because it's real and it's a heart-to-heart conversation. So as we move into our last segment of the show, our heart-to-heart moment, I want to let you know that it is not easy, and I know. You're not alone. You'll never be alone, because what we're doing right now is we're building a community of women where we're all going through different challenges, which is a reason why when I start having my guest speakers on the show, we're going to pour in and talk about many different things, because every topic I can't relate to. I may have not experienced it, but I know some other women that have. And so in this moment, while I'm talking to you heart to heart, I want you to know that you are amazing. You are not behind. Life is actually just starting. But the first thing you need to do is make a move. That move is going to get you to your next destination. And I'm super excited for you, because I can't wait for you to get there. Because you may see me when you get there. I'm moving along this journey called life just like you are. So I want to thank you for joining me on this journey called life. And I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Heart Surgery Podcast. This is just the beginning. But what I'm going to need for you to do is make sure that you are subscribing to the page, you are liking, sharing with your family, friends, your community, because this is going to help us reach women all over the world, just like you and I. Remember, we are moving from victim to victory together. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of the Heart Surgery Podcast. I cannot wait to see you there.